This is Chris, and welcome to the Putman Built Scale Farm Workbench. Just wanted to have a little overview again on some Massey parts that I have been working on. I did a video not too long ago of wheels and how to handle them when you get those from Shapeways. I've added some wheels to the Shapeways store. I've also added some component pieces for Massey tractors. In particular the Western models, so the standard non-adjustable front axles and swinging drawbars and things like that would designate that tractor as a Western model or a standard model, depending on where you're from, what your local lingo is. The tractors in front of us tonight are at the very front is 1100. That started off as a scale model casting, narrow front. This particular one, I think, was a show tractor from 1992 or somewhere in there. And it just had the small square fenders on top. I mean, scale models, they have some pretty decent casting details, but they do lack in overall detail. But it made a really nice base for what I'm doing here. These fenders that I'm taking off right now, that's actually off of a 5020 John Deere model, and they actually work. I've used them before on different projects, and they're a nice fender to start off with. They fit well. You can see how it kind of what was required to cut. I cut an awful lot off that tractor, but it all fits together actually pretty nice. So as you see on the back, 3D printed rear end and axle housings. They don't come with an axle shaft. That's something that's supplied in-house here. Just a 60 thousandths inch styrene rod. Of course, you could use brass if you felt like using brass. And it's fairly simple thing to come together. It comes in a kit. Looks like this. This particular one is for the 1155, but the 1100, that center section will be mostly just a square cube almost with the hole through for axle positioning. So you put your axle rod through there and get it all centered up, and then put your axle housing on, glue it in place. Front or a rear PTO plate. And it's got an actual PTO shaft in there as well. It's hard to see with the lighting in here, but there's a PTO shaft and a shield. All the bolts for what would replicate that plate mounting on the back of the differential housing. It's all there, so pretty straightforward kit. But it does require some cutting, obviously. You got to cut off quite a bit of the old casting. The front axle, I've got a front axle. It is steerable. It moves. It's coming. That kit is coming as well. I have one here, but I do need to make a few changes to it. That's how I measured this off of a real tractor and designed it off of a real tractor. And when I got it here, lo and behold, the castings are a little bit different in how they fit together. So you can kind of see, or maybe you can see, the difference of what I've had to do to modify the axle to fit into place. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments to reflect that in the Shapeways kit as well, because I'm pretty sure not everybody wants to go to the same extent of making that fit that maybe I did. Moving on to the 1155, it's very similar. That same axle kit will be used, and again I had to trim that one up as well. This kit was actually measured. I think I measured it off of an 1135 tractor, and it should have been. I thought it would be the same, but maybe there's discrepancy in the castings. But that's okay. They see the rear axle in place on that one as well as the swinging drawbar. This one has the rigid, the one-piece swinging drawbar kit. It doesn't have a movable drawbar, so it comes looking like this. Very simple. It's all one-piece design. When you order that, you get a pair of them. I just figured it was easy for packaging. I plan on doing multiples of these tractors, so it made sense for me. If you wanted a positionable or an actual swinging drawbar, you can get this kit. It's also just a single piece with a couple different drawbar options there, depending on what you want for your tongue, for your hitch. And that's what this one has on the 1100. So I'll have this drawbar in place and swing positionable when it's all done. And that's where I'm at so far with the 3D component pieces anyways. Everything else from here on in is probably scratch built. I don't know why. I'm still debating on making a dash for this tractor. This particular 1155, I'm gonna have to wind up doing a lot of work to just to keep the cab in place and keep an operator station detailed up as much as I want to be. There is an insert. Ertl has a plastic insert, and that is by far the easiest thing to just put back in, but I'm going for a little bit more realistic approach, so I'm actually going to be scratch building my interior completely for this tractor, and there's obviously some challenges present with two halves with a cab casting already on the half. I got to make some adjustments there to put it all together, but I think it should turn out okay. So far I'm fairly happy with the outcome. So we move on to the tires, and these were what we showed in the first video. These are the 38-inch. They're painted up now and ready to go. I've also added, there's an interior or inside weight that's available now. That's a separate piece, so you don't have to add them. But pretty well every Massey tractor from this era I've seen has this inside weight. So that's also on a one-piece rim again. I did that one piece. Most of them are two-piece, and I'd kind of recommend buying a two-piece rim just because of when it comes to painting, especially the red. It's nice to be able to paint those pieces separately, that silver rim and red hub. So those are the 38s. I've just got them mounted on Standee and Ertl tires at the moment. I do have an 18-4-34 that I've been working on. This is extremely fragile. These are a dual kit, so you can see the offsets are different. This would be the outside dual, and this would be the inside. And again, I've that inside weight, it fits the 34-inch rim. It comes separate, and without it, it's just flat, just like that one. Of course, that's the outside dual, so you wouldn't put an inside weight on that. The tires, these are actually a 3D printed tire, and I haven't found too many 18-4-34 sizes on tires, or ones that look authentic, but these are from a guy, I think his shop name, and he goes on different forums and whatnot, is Steiger 9330, and he does that's a pretty decent tire for fitting this. So that's the tire I went for to fit these rims on there. They give a decent worn. They got a good tread pattern. They look semi-worn, so I'm pretty happy with that overall. And I also did a 24-5-34 version, and you'll notice this one, these don't fit that inside weight. If you want to add extra weight to these ones, I've got an outside weight kit. So that one's got the weight on it. This would be the hub without it. And you'll notice that every one of these hubs are also different depending on the size. And I wanted to make sure I got that accuracy in it. But the center stepped portion of that hub will all fit these outside weights. So if you want to add weights to whatever size of rim, there is a weight kit available on Shapeways, and there's the insides and the outsides. and they will fit. You can add as much weight as you like. There's a quick look. Those are the 34-inch hubs. Again, I'll stress that these are fragile. Those small lugs, especially the 34, they're small and they're very brittle. They're very fragile. And there's a reason that these two are still on a tree. It's because I have two rims here with the lugs broke out of them. And this one actually had the lugs break out too. I found enough and was able to piece it back together. But 3 out of the 4 broke on me. So they take a pretty careful touch to put them together. I'll be trying again later, and hopefully that doesn't require changes, because the detail is really I find it quite impressive that we're able to achieve that kind of detail for 1/64th scale. And again, that's the Western cast hub front wheels, and that was an option. It's on every Western tractor I've ever seen, but I guess it was probably an option. And there's the silver versions. Those are on a 3D tire that are done by Denny Wagner. And this is just an Ertl tire that I think I found that one off of the John Deere 6030. And equivalent is where that tire would have come from. And again, that's a 2-piece design, so it makes it easier to paint. Extremely fine pieces when you get down into something that's like a 16-inch rim. But it turned out actually pretty good. I'm happy with that. And I think that's where we're going to end this for tonight. So hopefully the next time I make a video here, I've got a tractor with some paint on it, or a few extra added details, or something a little bit more to show. Maybe I can finish off a tractor. But thanks for stopping by, checking out, and if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. You can find any of this stuff on Shapeways aside from the front axle. Again, I don't have that one available yet, but we're working on it. So again, thanks for stopping by.